Hey there, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Gwen from the Dr. Gwen International Inc. and host of the iTunes show, the Dr. Gwen Podcast Show. Today marks part 5 of the 5-part series on how to master your success. Really, we've been sharing so far the 5 secrets to propelling your success. And today is part 5. I invite you to go back and look at parts 1 through 4 so you can get caught up with the content. And today we have a relatively full and important topic. Now, from the first 4 topics we talked about over the last 4 weeks, you can have success doing those things, major success. I personally have used every last one of those strategies with myself and with my clients to a great degree, producing success. The one thing I realize is simply that success a lot of times is impacted by the way we think, our psychology. And so today in part 5, we will be talking about mastering your psychology. Now, as I said, all 4 parts are important and key in getting you whatever the results you want in any area of your life, no matter what the impact is that you feel like you want to make. And part 5 is, I believe, the single most important aspect. Because no matter how clear you are, no matter how your environment is supportive, no matter whether you have those skill set or whatever it is that you bring to the table, if your psychology is not in check, you will be done. So in talking about mastering psychology today, I really want you to focus on you. And the reason why we find that mastering the psychology is so huge is that a lot of times we tend to tell ourselves some quote unquote truths that we have about the circumstances that are occurring in our lives. We have some beliefs around those systems. And some of those beliefs, we have made them factual, though in fact they may very well not be. So today I'm going to challenge you to take a different look on the circumstances in your life, the events that show up, and the meaning that you make of those circumstances, the truths you create out of those circumstances. Now, one of the things that I would like for us to look at is, or to think about, is that sometimes no matter what you want to create, there is always something there that may be holding you back. And I say always with tongue in cheek, not really always, but a lot of times, especially when you're going to be stepping out to do something that's really different than what you have done before in the past. And usually what we call the subconscious mind has a way of keeping us locked in. It locks us into a certain spot where getting beyond that spot is quite challenging. And often a lot of people allow themselves to stay there, stopped up, not taking the next step to get to the next level to achieve that next big goal. And so from time to time, they find themselves stalled, not going anywhere, feeling frustrated, entertaining those self-limiting thoughts. Oh, I'm not good enough, they tell themselves, or I'm not worthy, or who am I to believe this? These are all things that are embedded in your subconscious mind. And really what it does is it keeps you safe, but it also keeps you the same. Do you want to have a different result than you have been having in your life so far? then the thing to do is to shed some light on that subconscious thought. You got to shed some light on what you are thinking. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do today is to become aware. When you start to think about doing something that maybe you've never done before, or stepping out beyond where you've never stepped before, what are the thoughts that pop into your head? Pay attention to that, because the first thing in transforming anything is awareness. If you are not aware of what those thoughts are, or what it is that's holding you back, you may not know exactly what it is, but you know there is a thought that's triggered in your mind before you choose not to act. There is a thought that's triggered in your mind before you freeze and before you change direction completely opposite from where you want to go. So what is that thought for you? You've got to identify what that thought is. And those fears, those doubts, those limiting beliefs, all of those things are key important to getting you to where you need to go. Now, what I do with my clients is I help them to shatter those self-limiting beliefs, those fears, so they never hold them back again. Okay? Now, what I am going to do with you today is I'm going to offer you a few strategies that I believe you can start taking now to help you to move past this frozen state. Because one thing I know about fear, though it's appearing real to you, it is really an imposter. Fear is not keeping you safe, though it is acting like it's keeping you safe. 99.9%, in fact, closer to 100% of the times, the things we fear never come to pass. They never do. And a lot of people don't discover that because they allow themselves to stay stuck in that fear without even trying to venture past what is happening so they can find out for themselves what is on the other side of fear. On the other side of those psychological things that stop us is great power and release and confidence. Because when you step out and you decide that that fear, that self-limiting belief, whatever it is that's happening to you right now is no longer going to hold you back, and you step out and you do the thing that's stopping you, oh my goodness, that self-confidence rises in such a huge way, because now you know you did it, and now it's time for the next step. So your comfort circle keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But if you don't move, it stays shrunken and you stay stuck right in it. A small person living a small life, not fulfilling the passions and the missions that you were put here to accomplish. And that doesn't feel good, does it? So what I want to do is to give you a couple tips and strategies that will help you to deal with it. And some of them I might have mentioned just in a brief sentence just now. The first one is, I want you to question those truths. Question them. Ask yourself, are those truths really absolute truths? Are they factual? Or could there be another way to look at the circumstance? Is it really true that you are not good enough? What gives you that thought that you're not good enough? If you really want to know the answer, go out and ask some people. Some people may try to confirm that because they are no good for you to be around. We talked about being in the right environment, right? With the right people who are going to support you. But also, Never mind those folks. Ask around if you feel that you need to. However, there's no need to do that, because here I'm going to confirm for you right now that by virtue of you being born, being human, being a part of this great universe, this great power, you are already deserving and worthy being a part of that. So ask yourself, is that the absolute truth? And I, my friend, would like to answer that in your behalf. And the answer, of course, is no, because you are a part of this great, amazing universe. Okay? So each time that thought creeps up, each time you have the idea that, oh, it's not going to work out, or, oh, I'm too afraid. You may be afraid, but you're not good enough is not a true conclusion. Okay? It is not. So question those fears, challenge them. Ask yourself if there's another perspective that could be more empowering to your life that you can actually take on. What is another empowering perspective that you can take on that will help you to move forward? So change the relationship you have with those truths, which are really non-truths. Change your relationship. Don't embrace them as being factual and as being true, because they are not. And now take on a more empowering perspective of what this can mean for you in your life. Now, you can also use your brain to access certain things, to make some associations. And our brain, see, your brain interprets what is happening in your thoughts as real. In other words, it's not able to distinguish between truth or false, or between what's actually happening in reality and what is made up. So I'm going to invite you to do this exercise with me right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think of something that scares you. Is it a snake? Is it a spider? What kind of critter scares you? If it's not a critter, what is it? Think about that thing coming rapidly towards you, and you are trapped in a room where you cannot get out. Just close your eyes right now and envision that. And oh my gosh, if it's a snake, it's slithering up your desk, and it's coming in your path. Now, just now when I closed my eyes, I envisioned that snake slithering up. And even now, my body is physically reacting to that. Okay? Why? Because my brain doesn't understand what is actually real from what is actually made up. Now, close your eyes again. And I want you to think of an experience that you've had that's been completely pleasurable, completely wonderful. It has been amazing. You have lived it. It has really touched the quality of your life to the extent that you're lifted up. You're on a completely different plane when you're imagining yourself in this scenario. Now bask yourself in it. Indulge your sensory modalities. Involve the feeling. What are you feeling? Involve the smell. What is the smell? Involve the touch. How does it feel? Involve your hearing. What are you hearing? All the sensory modalities, bring those in and breathe and experience. Doesn't that feel really good? See, what we just went through is a process to help you to actually shift what's happening in your life in any moment. If you find yourself feeling scared or stuck or sad or angry, think of something that brings you peace and joy. Play some music, get happy, dance, whatever you find yourself doing, get that makes you happy, get in that modality and transform the way you're feeling in that moment. And now take that feeling and transfer it to whatever is scaring you right now. In other words, you're making an association with something that gives you great pleasure and something that scares you. And you're putting them together because your brain doesn't know what is actually factual from what is made up. You're going to make up, if we can put it simplistically, that scary activity is the activity you're having great fun with. It works every time. Just close your eyes and envision that. Envision yourself having success doing that goal by taking the success from another activity that has been so majorly important in your life and associating it with the thing that scares you. That is beautiful. Now, when we did our visualization exercise, I asked you to envision two different scenarios. One was something that invoked fear in you. The other one was one that invoked pleasure and happiness and peace. The first one is one that I called contraction. The second one is one that I call expansion. Oftentimes when we're sad or when we're angry or when things are not going our way, or maybe even when we're scared to take that step, we're talking about psychology now, mastering the psychology. When you are scared or angry or sad or in that frame, that is a contracted state. Now, the place I don't want you to go when you experience that is to say it's wrong. Because we need both contraction and expansion in our lives in every single phase, because they're signals of what needs to happen. So when you feel contracted, if you're sad or if you're angry, or maybe if you're scared in any given moment, that may be a signal for you to back away and take some inventory. Not that you're going to stay that way. Assess. If it's scared, ask yourself those questions I presented to you. What you're fearful of, is it true? Is it factual? Could there be another way for you to view that scenario so that you can be at peace? If you're sad or you're feeling stuck, for example, that also is a contracted state. What you really ought to avoid doing is forcing the issue. Forcing it. When you force it, that's resistance to what is showing up. And anytime you resist a scenario in your life or any event in your life, it persists. It really does. So what you have to allow yourself to do is to be open and release and allow freely so that it flows. When you allow, it doesn't tend to stick around as long as when you resist. So if you really want to get to mastering that psychology, just be at peace with whatever comes up and allow. While you're asking yourself some poignant questions about what that scenario, what's happening, what is actually happening, what may it be tied to. Now, when you're in that expansion phase, doesn't mean that all is good either, though it feels good. We're not labeling anything as being good or bad. We just want you to be aware that this is what happens in your life, and that you being at that point, you have to be open to allowing what's showing up and not resisting what is showing up. So, in conclusion, I've got a couple things for you that I'm going to leave you with. And the number one thing is avoid driving yourself crazy about things and circumstances that show up in your life. If you are feeling stuck or if you're feeling fearful of anything, try the exercise that I just said. And I also want you to know that reaching out to get help, to get support, is not a sign of weakness as well. So if you can find a friend to support you, or if you can find a mentor or a coach to support you in that process, that would be astounding. A lot of people overcome their fears and their self-limiting beliefs by going through that process that I just showed you and other processes that my own personal clients experience as they go through their goals or work towards achieving their goals. And some of these strategies are very powerful. They diffuse the thing in the moment so that they are actually sticking around and sticking with their goals instead of running away from it. So the thing that I want you to get is that when you are feeling fear, understand that it's a natural thing to go that route, and that it's not a great thing to stick around there forever. Work through your questioning, work through your psyche, be open, don't resist and try to say, oh, get away from me, I don't want this. You don't want it, but you don't want to resist it, okay? And be open and be free and be allowing. And for goodness sake, stop driving yourself crazy trying to force a result. You can never force a result. What will happen is you will prolong your state. Whatever that state is that you're in, you will prolong it. It will show up in other areas of your life. It will show up on other days. So just learn to embrace this whole process and embrace the expansion and the contraction process as a regular part of life. And so I want to also invite you to schedule a free session with me. I am offering those, and my website is thedrgwen.com/free session. Go there, schedule a session. We will look at your business, your career, or your life. So if you want to double your business income, or if you feel like you want to have a promotion on your job, or if you just plain feel like, gosh, Dr. Gwen, I am not even clear about where I'm headed right now. I'm so stuck and I'm so confused right now. Excuse me? I'm so stuck and confused right now. I absolutely hate what I'm doing now, and I don't even know where to begin. Schedule that free session. Let's work on that together. Once again, it's thedrgwen.com/free session. My friends, I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast today. I invite you to leave your comments at the bottom of the page so that we can interact and I can hear from you. I can hear what your needs are. I can hear what your desires are. And more than anything else, if you feel like you want to reach out to me, I can leave you my email address. That is info@thedrgwen.com. And you can send me an email at any point in time. I will respond within 24 hours unless it's the weekend or a holiday. And even then, you may just hear from me. So, guys and gals, have the most amazing day. And just remember that you are special and that by virtue of you being born into this universe, being a part of this universe, you are worthy. This is Dr. Gwen, empowering lives to live purposefully and passionately. Love you guys.